Now, the important term is that capital assets can be categorized or classified under two heads: short term capital asset and long term capital asset. Section 2 subsection 42A defines short term capital asset as an asset held by an assessee not more than 36 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer. Therefore, a capital asset held by an assessee for more than 36 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer is a long term capital asset. So, the cutoff date is 36 months. So, up to 36 months, if the asset is held, it would be treated as short term capital asset, but if it is held for more than 36 months, it will be treated as long term capital asset. However, a security other than a unit listed in a recognized stock exchange or a unit of equity oriented fund or a unit of Unit Trust of India or a zero coupon bond will be considered as a long term capital asset if the same is held for more than 12 months immediately preceding the previous year or the year of its transfer. That means, in case of other assets it is 36 months, in case of listed equity shares or listed security or unit it is 12 months. Now, period of holding of unlisted share to qualify as a long term capital asset is that a share of a company not being a share listed in a recognized stock exchange would be treated as short term capital asset if it was held by an assessee for not more than 24 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer. Thus, the period of holding of such unlisted shares for being treated as long term capital asset would be more than 24 months instead of 36 months, or in case of listed it is 12 months. Now, there is another change from the assessment year 2018-19, that period of holding of an immovable property being land or building or both. Now, an immovable property being land or building or both would be treated as a short term capital asset if it was held by an assessee for not more than 24 months immediately preceding the date of its transfer. Thus, the period of holding of immovable property being land or building or both for being treated as a long term capital asset has been reduced from more than 36 months to more than 24 months from assessment year 2018-19. So, what we get is that there are, for short term and long term, the cutoff is 36 months, that is normally an asset. If it is held for more than 36 months, it would be treated as long term capital asset, otherwise it is treated as short term capital asset, with the exception of listed securities, where instead of 36 months it is 12 months. For unlisted securities, instead of 36 months it is 24 months, and in case of immovable property, instead of 36 months it would be 24 months. Now, let us see the meaning of transfer. Section 2 subsection 47 defines transfer in relation to a capital asset which includes different types of transactions. It includes the sale, exchange or relinquishment of the rights in the assets, or the extinguishment of any rights, or the compulsory acquisition thereof under any law, or the owner of the capital asset may convert the same into stock in trade into a business. In case of a maturity or redemption of a zero coupon bond, so in this way, all these definition or all these transactions will be treated as transfer. Now, in case of section 45 deals the scope of and the year of chargeability. There are certain provisions, there are certain insurance receipts, conversion of treatment of capital gains, etc. treated as it comes under this scope of that particular section. Now, in case of capital gains, there are certain specific cases, that is capital gains in case of distribution of assets by company in liquidation, capital gains in case of buyback of shares. So, in all these cases, the transactions of transfer has certain typical characteristics. Please read the study materials, the e-texts, where we will be discussing these particular points in detail.